All right, up next is Tanner from North Carolina. Hey, Tanner, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel and George.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing well. How can we help?
I had a quick question. I'm currently 19 years old. I drive a 300,000-mile vehicle. It runs fantastic, and I have no problems thus far with it. But I was wondering, what is the age to stop spending on wants and start spending on the future? I always hear people say, oh, I wish I'd started this or that. Does that mean they started 22 or 25 or 19? My real question is, I'm looking to, when this vehicle dies, to maybe get a nicer vehicle, obviously pay cash for it. But I was thinking something around the $30,000 mark with get something cool and fun like a muscle car. Would this be a wise choice, or should I perhaps get another $6,000 vehicle that'll last for another 5 or 6 years, and then invest that money in a down payment or something like that?
Yeah, great question, Tanner. Are you in school right now? Are you working? What's kind of your status?
I'm currently working. I do a side hustle, and I also have a main job.
Okay, and how much do you make a year?
Approximately $30,000 combined.
Okay. So our rule of thumb, just to answer the car question, and then George can jump into the kind of the lifestyle question, but the car, we always say that you don't want anything on wheels to be half of your annual income. So if you were to go and save up for a $30,000 car while you're making $30,000, that would not be smart, because that would mean most of what you're making is your net worth is in your car. So if you were still making 30, I would shoot for a $15,000 car at the most, but you can still get a great car for $12,000, even below $15,000. So if you have the cash and you're able to pay for it in full, then that's kind of where I would recommend. Do you have any debt right now?
I do not. Nope, no debt.
How much money do you have in the bank?
So I was a little unwise with spending. So about 3 months ago, I had probably about $100. I've thus tightened down, and in the last 3 months, I've accumulated $8,500 through working and just really
you must be saving every penny, man.
Yeah, definitely big change.
Wow. Well, to your original question, you said, what's the proper age to stop spending on wants and plan for the future? And the truth is, you're always going to be buying things that you want, and you should always be planning for the future. So I don't see them as mutually exclusive. I see them as things you factor into your monthly budget. So have some things that you're looking forward to, some short-term goals, but also be investing for the future in a retirement plan. Do you have any kind of plan through your employer right now for that?
There is a plan through my employer, but currently I'm not signed up for that.
Okay. Now, I do want you to have a fully funded emergency fund, which may be that $8,500 you're sitting on, which means we're not going to touch it for the car. We need to set up a different savings account to start saving up for that next car.
Yeah, so I would probably, honestly, if I were you, Tanner, just because it has 300,000 miles on it, which is awesome that you've literally driven it to that point, but it's probably getting close to its last leg there, just from a mileage perspective.
What kind of car is this? I'm just curious.
It is a 2007 Ford Edge.
Ford Edge.
Nice.
All right, let's go Ford. I was going to assume Toyota or Honda.
I was going to say a Camry. Camry is where I would put my money, but
Toyota. Rachel.
Toyota.
I get made fun of for how I say it.
What do you say?
I say Toyota. And they say it's Toyota.
Sorry, Tanner. I'm so sorry you had to hear that through the phone.
It's fine.
That's a terrible
Ford
way to
Edge.
pronounce it.
Way to go, Ford. Making a car that lasts a long time.
So, Tanner, I would do your emergency fund, which, again, George said could be that $8,500. And then I probably would sit there and save a little bit more cash, because what I don't want to happen is that wonderful Ford with 300,000 miles suddenly becomes undrivable, and you're like, oh, gosh. And then you have to dip into your emergency fund. So I would start saving on the side for a car. But I would only do that for maybe, I don't know, what would you say, George? Maybe 6-7 months. And then I would start investing. So I would kind of do both at the same time, but I would jumpstart that car fund even before investing, because of what it's going to cost you.
Yeah, and I would definitely try to get your income up, because you're working, you said you have a full-time job and a side hustle, and you're pulling in $30,000. What kind of job is this?
I'm a technician for, I pull fiber and data cables for installing things such as printer jacks that you plug into your printer, setting up server towers,
Cool.
that kind of stuff.
Well, I would see what roles in that industry you could step into, grow into, even talk to your employer about what growth looks like. I mean, you're 19. You got your whole life ahead of you. I've no doubt you're going to do great. But I think with that income, it's going to be harder to save up. It's going to be harder to invest, harder to get a down payment, making 30,000.
Yeah, so you're on the right track though, Tanner. You're doing an awesome job.